our people we have running for governor, the people we have running for U.S. Senate. We're going to be able to get them everything they need to get out our base and hopefully flip some red seats and again flip South Carolina blue because that's what we need to do in 2022. Anything else? I got answers for days. Yes, ma'am.
Well, we know that there's a redistricting effort, and they're trying to stack the deck.
Yeah.
So that, Democrats can't gain seats.
Yeah.
What can be done about that?
The biggest thing that we are doing in conjunction with State House Democrats and State Senate Democrats is getting as many people as we can to go out to these local meetings that the State House and the State Senate are doing. We had one in Greenville. I know there are those happening throughout the state to get people to speak out and call their representatives and say that we want fair redistricting because voters should pick their politicians, politicians should pick their voters. We do know that the Republicans, unfortunately, have a majority in the General Assembly. They have the governor's mansion. And while we don't want to take legal action, that is a recourse that might come into play. Hopefully not. Hopefully they do what is right by the people of South Carolina. I know that they don't really need to take any more seats, unfortunately, but the Republicans are greedy because they're Republicans. And we need to do everything we can to stop them. Due to the pandemic and other factors, the redistricting, it might not take effect until after the 2022 election. So again, it is imperative for us to make sure we get a Democrat in this state in the governor's mansion next year. So they can have that veto pen and they can make sure that these lines are drawn fairly, that these lines are drawn proportionally, and that it works in the benefit of all South Carolinians regardless of their partisan affiliation. So that's really what we're trying to do at the state party right now, just educating people, getting people out, and making sure that we have somebody in office that, again, will prioritize politics, people over politics, because we already have the alternative right now here in McMaster. What's up?
As of the young people, how can we get more young people in the smaller community and the smaller counties to be more involved? As I go out and I see and be a part of different organizations, different meetings, there's very few of young people attending meetings, very young people that being concerned about it. So how can we raise the initiative to get them to buy into it more often? Because as we know, every day we getting older by the day, by the month, so we need to start grooming and teaching and learning other people, young people, to replace or to learn more in that area. And I don't really see it as much. Maybe you do on your end, but I don't see it as much as I think it should be.
I don't really see it as why I ran for third vice chair. I feel you when you say we're getting older. I'm knocking on 30's door. I'll be 30 in a couple of years. It's scary. One of the things that we're doing that I'm personally spearheading in conjunction with this precinct project is working with our our high school Democrats, our college Democrats, and the young Democrats in South Carolina to reach out to those voters. I want to follow the Obama model. When I was a freshman in high school when Obama ran for president, I was able to intern with his campaign. And that was really the most robust effort that I've seen in my lifetime of getting young people mobilized and galvanized and excited. So you're going to be seeing us take a different approach. We're going to be registering voters and getting our candidates out to tailgates at college football games. You're going to be seeing us go to high school football games, basketball games, what have you. And you're going to see us we're going to a lot of nightclubs and things like that. So in Greenville, for instance, we did some unconventional things. We had voter registration drives at our barbershops and our beauty salons and at some, honestly, strip clubs, if we can just be honest about it. Yeah, some people weren't happy about it. Obviously, they thought it was a bad look, but we registered over 500 voters when we went there. You got to reach people where they are.
That's right.
And people like going to those clubs when they like hearing people like me talk, and I understand it completely. Ladies who work there, super helpful. So these are the things we're going to see us doing. So I'll be in touch with you in the future. We're going to be working with our college Democrats to have a strong presence at all of our universities. Not just Clemson and USC like we usually do, but making sure we have a presence at every university. Reaching as many high schools as we can is a little bit more complicated with reaching out to our high schools because a lot of control over our local school boards. And young adults working with our young Democrats on that. And hopefully we're gonna see a serious uptick in voter registration for voters under 35. And we're gonna be hopefully turning those folks out to be Democrats. Yes, sir. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, Francisco, we had talked about getting a young Democrat project going. We had talked about one of our meetings, get a lot of young people together. So we needed young people. I arrested a lot of young people. And just go to that there. We went to the barber shop, we got took his phone to him. We arrested everybody in there. And I just branched out. You know, because they like to see the ladies come to the barber shop.
They do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been high. That's why we're changing our approach. The state party right now is engaging in an initiative called Register 46, where we're going to be registering voters in our pilot counties that we're focusing on right now, but eventually putting organizers in all 46 counties to register people to vote. The problem that we've had with voter registration in the past is that people who aren't registered to vote, they aren't in our database. So we haven't been able to make sure they get postcards, mailers, text banks, phone banks, now make sure they get Canvas, what we call a GOTV evidence, to make sure they're that most likely to vote. So what we're doing now is with Vote Builder, we're registering the vote, then we're putting that information within a new tab on Vote Builder that says voter registration. And once we put those people in, they're going to be getting mailers from all of our candidates and from the state party. They're going to be getting texts from all of our candidates from the state party, phone banks. We're going to be bugging the absolute hell out of them, I can be honest. And we're going to make sure those registered voters are that much more likely to vote. So that doesn't just benefit us in 2022, but after the next election, we're going to be able to see, okay, this is where our voter registration efforts were successful. This is where they weren't successful. This is who was we registered that didn't vote. This is who did vote. And that's going to make us that much more effective going into 2024, 2026, and throughout the rest of the decade. So I'm really looking forward to that plan and, again, building blue. Because South Carolina, we can beat the state of Dick Riley again, the state of Nick Theodore, the state of Grady Patterson. I am really good friends with his grandson up in Greenwood. I guess he's the third or the fourth. So looking to the past to see how we can build towards the future.
All right. I have that information for the last election, by race and age and gender. Right, I have that, I have that.
Jalen, maybe you could speak to this. I'm trying to address this about talking about the fundraisers. I'm interrupted. One of the important things is discussing small rural communities. When I was bringing up teachers and Henry McMaster teaching is fine, it's very difficult in a local community to discuss politics on a broad scale. As you see around here with the socialism issue and we simply talk about wearing a mask is taking away the right. But simple issues that engage voters are not broad issues. They're things that we can get that we are on the winnable side about. And it's like to have a successful fundraiser if you engage and try to sell a ticket. You want someone to come. You want them to come to hear one of these candidates like Joe Cunningham or Mia McLeod. Joe Cunningham happens to be a scientist. He believes in science. We all believe in something. Mary's a science teacher. So you want to discuss things like the cold face mask, the whitewashing of history that they're going to try to do, that they're always trying to do in this state. Because in local communities, the people, the parents, the young people with the kids are on our side. But you don't hear them speaking up because they don't want to engage in the controversy or the confrontation. But they are on our side. That's why you have 3 people running for governor against Henry McMaster. That was the point I'm trying to make why I wanted some discussion. Number one, if you do that and you talk to people and you talk to them simply on what has occurred in our public education, you need to excel in tickets. And that people, and get young people, and engage them, because they're going to protect their kids. Number one. Number two, I want to address, this is really important, Jalen, something you probably missed, in talking about registering voters. You know what the number one issue was in the state of Georgia for Stacey Abrams to organize and get people registered to vote, but get them to the polls? She was the only one outside of Pennsylvania that got young people to the polls, first time voters. You know how she did that? You know how she did it? Because the conversation was about taking away the right to vote. It's like, and for all. That's why it is for all of us. Taking away your right to vote. And when we talk to people about taking away their right to vote, think about taking away your freedom. Oh, darn spaceman. Taking away my freedom. That's bullshit, y'all know it. But taking away your right to vote is real, and it's principle, and it's character, and it's about America. It's about being an American, and we are American every day, and every day that flag is for all of us. That one issue created a situation, and not only for young people, but for all kinds of people to go vote. Y'all remember what happened 2 years before when she ran for governor against that no count Brian Kemp? They cheated. They really cheated. Because they took people off the road. It wasn't because she could have proved it really with going and doing vote count. It was because they just, if you were registered to vote, Bridget can tell you all about that, can't you, Bridget? Rolling you off the road. That's legal in some states. It's actually legal in the state of South Carolina. But we're having the good fortune to have some people that don't want to do that. So, what Galen, to get young people, to have more Galen, and for Galen to bring a whole bunch of people in when we have a fundraiser coming here with a candidate, you gotta talk about some issues that are real simple to get people engaged. Because right now, we can register a whole lot of people, but you don't get them to the polls and motivate them, they ain't going to the polls to vote. And quite frankly, in America, we register millions of young people that would go to the polls to vote. Because if they did, same here, and we're one here in South Carolina. And we would not have lost. Boy, did we.
I'll address your first question first, about the rural communities.
I thought we got Brandon up and would amplify action.
Yeah. Regarding the SCDP, we recognize, and Trav recognizes especially, that we haven't made the kind of investment in our rural communities that we should have as a party. And we're seeking to rectify that because, like I was saying earlier, like you articulated, our rural communities really bear the brunt of the inaction and the bad policies that we see come out of Columbia. I don't have to tell anybody here that the COVID-19 pandemic is disproportionately hitting our rural communities, not just in terms of public health, but in terms of economic growth in ways that I don't think we fully appreciate yet, and in a way that is going to have ramifications that last for years, unfortunately. So when you talk about making sure our candidates talk to people about the issues, I know.
We have to talk to people about
Right.
specifics.
Right.
And not things that we're not going to engage in a chat fight with.
Right. And I think the things like you mentioned, things articulated, they mean that. And that starts in communities like Abbeville. Like I was saying before, I'm going to be calling Joe Cunningham's campaign team. Actually, we'll probably just call him personally because he answered his phone. I'm going to get in touch with Senator McLeod's campaign team, get in touch with Gary Motor because I think his campaign team, as of right now, is just him. And get in touch with Angela Jeter and Crystal Matthews and make sure they're at this Abbeville meeting, Abbeville fundraiser, excuse me. And I'll be here too. Whatever day you guys decide, whether you do it in November, December, or after the first of the year, I'll make sure they're here. And I have an inkling that they will be because that'll be the middle and the height of the primary season, and they're going to need y'all to vote for them in those contested primaries next June. So I will make sure we do that regarding what happened in Georgia. I spent the fall campaign working for Joe Biden in Minneapolis and St. Paul. I was sitting there in the aftermath of George Floyd's murder, and then after the presidential election, I was in Atlanta for 2 months for the runoff. And what you said is exactly right. Stacey Abrams did a brilliant job of registering new voters and getting out of regular voters. It's a testament to her ingenuity and her passion. But one of the things we talk about frequently is they're taking away the right to vote. And we've seen that more frequently across the nation because Donald Trump continues to perpetuate the lie that his defeat was somehow erroneous, was that his defeat was illegitimate. And it wasn't. People just got tired of his antics and his bullying and his disgraceful actions, and they voted him out. So one of the things that we're going to be doing is letting people know that we need to vote, because if our vote wasn't powerful, they wouldn't be trying to take it away. We're going to be going out and telling people we need Congress to pass the For the People Act and John Lewis Voting Advancement Act that is currently pending in the Senate. And we're going to let them know that the way to bring about that change and to stop this assault on voting rights is by making sure we vote in Democrats who are going to perpetuate the policies that we want to see. So it's something that we're developing plans to articulate to young voters, something that we're going to be working with young voters about in communities like Abbeville and in the upstate throughout South Carolina. Again, especially in the low country and in the PD, where we're seeing that lack of political investment in young voters we want to rectify. And hopefully a year from now, I'm back here with our state party leadership and our gubernatorial nominee and our U.S. Senate nominee, and I can report good news to you that we're doing that, and everything we say we're being enacted into action.
I'm interested in the high school. I got 2 grandsons in high school.
Right.
One of them is very politically interested.
Right.
And he's in the Boy Scout troop, which is where he's is tonight. And he was the only Democrat in the group. There now has been a group of black boys who've come in, and he has company.
Right.
So that's real nice. But he also has that situation in the high school. He's the only Democrat at the table that they eat at.
Yeah.
And, that's hard.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's holding up. And, I feel like he needs to get picked up. And I feel like he's not the only kid. He's not that unusual. I think he's special and all that kind of stuff. How do you reach into those kind of people?
When I was president of the Young Democrats, we had a very passionate group of high schoolers in Greenville. And we brought them in under the auspice of the Young Democrats of Greenville County. And in that, they created a club called the High School Democrats of Greenville. And it was through that we have South Carolina High School Democrat organization.
Do you?
And yes, we do. And it's concentrated, but I know it's they're trying to build. It's difficult because they're teenagers, and they have limited mobility, and they can be immature, and sometimes they get grounded for doing crazy things. And so we try to work with them. But one of the reasons that I feel we need to invest heavily in our young Democrats, our high school young Democrats, because they can go into places that I can't. A lot of high schools, rightly so, don't let partisan organizations come in, and they don't let unauthorized adults come in. And I can understand that completely. Even moreover, especially in Greenville, the Republicans just don't want us in.
Yeah.
So the only avenue we have is recruiting these young people who can start up their clubs at the school. Most of the time they need a teacher to sponsor them. And we're trying to find ways to invest in them and give them the resources they need to do it. It's going to prove especially harder in our rural communities. And that's why I believe that we need to make significant investments, and I know Travis as well, in our rural county parties, so they can have the means to, again, on top of building our precinct infrastructure, go out and meet those parents who have teenage kids and get to say, hey, you go to, what's the high school here? Go to Abbeville High School and say, hey, you should start an Abbeville High School Democrats Club. And we can make sure that y'all have the money you need to, have pizza parties, or, skating ring, or, make a TikTok club, or whatever kids like to do these days. I don't know, I'm getting old. But through that, I believe we can create a new generation of Democratic operatives and party leaders and elected officials. We can make sure we're registering people within the high school, and we can engage in really starting out young to bring about the changes that need to happen. When I was their age, when I was in high school, we had a Barack Obama. And I think we all remember the energy and the excitement that he brought to his campaign. And I haven't really seen that since for our high schoolers. I love Joe Biden to death. I think we all do, but I think we also can recognize he's probably not exciting kids that much. We wanted some normalcy back with Joe Biden, so we got it. But those are some of the things we're going to be doing, and it's some of the things I'll definitely report back to you guys on.
That age is still idealistic, and you hate to see it get killed, before they get going.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
Right. Right. But it's something that we're definitely going to work on, and going to be in contact with your county party leadership to see what resources are needed after we get this precinct initiative up and running. Any more questions? Yes, sir.
You mentioned phone banking a little while ago,
Right.
and I've read, I can't remember where, that it was national phone banking focused on Georgia that helped push those, 11,000 voters that helped Biden Harris to win.
It did.
I've only been able to do that one time, and that was last November, the week before the election. Would you, in a few words, if I'm sure you can, explain about that it was amazing to use computers to telephone people? I was downside. I didn't know this would work. You would probably think, oh, you got to okay, this text, whatever, another thing in my computer. But it was wonderful. And you probably know a whole lot more about that than I do. It's the kind of thing that young people are really good at. But one thing that amazed me was how wonderfully receptive people were. I was mostly calling people in the northeastern from like Athens to Atlanta to Gainesville. That seemed to be the main area. But this computer program is wonderful. And so tell us something about how this thing works.
Yeah, so as Democrats, we use a software called Vote Builder for our campaigns and our party officials. We in South Carolina, throughout every state in the country, we have this thing called the voter file, where they can comprise the information of all registered voters in the state. Your name, your registered address, your phone number, your race, your age, demographics, everything. And we can buy that from the election commission. Some people don't like it because it's how they get annoyed throughout election seasons, but it's something that Democrats and Republicans both agree on because we want to contact our voters. So we buy the voter file and we put it all into Vote Builder. And it's through that you get the numbers that you need to call. And it's through that we can give every voter what you could deem a propensity score to show their likelihood to vote. And those people who have the lower propensity scores, we can give them a little bit more of a push. So that's why they're on the list for you to call. That's how they get texts. That's how they get their door knocked on. That's how they get mailers. All those mailers you got from Jamie Harrison and Tom Steyer and all those guys with all that money. And it makes them that much more likely to vote. According to data from the 2020 election, the person who is phone banked is 7% more likely to vote for the candidate they're phone banked for. And a person who is canvassed, you go knock on their door, that makes them, I believe the number was 15% more likely to vote. So it's pretty substantial. But even outside phone banking is a feature that we have that allows for robocalls. And we can break down the demographics of everyone and make a robocall accordingly. So let's say your next Abbeville County Democratic Party meeting and you wanted to contact everybody who voted in the 2020 South Carolina Democratic primary in Abbeville. We can go and vote, and we can do that. So we can get your chairwoman to record a call saying, hi, I'm Ms. Brenda, I'm recording, I'm calling you today to invite you to our next meeting. And that robocall will go out to every single person who voted in the Democratic Party in Abbeville, who voted in the Democratic primary in Abbeville. And you can recruit that way. It's something that we're working with our county party leaders to do if they haven't been doing it already. It's something that we've seen in Greenville work effectively. And it's again, trying to combine that technology with that old school politics, and hopefully bring about some changes. So we have some nice little toys there that we can try to use, and hopefully they start working out. All right.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate y'all having me. Thank y'all.
We're gonna close with prayer. Now,
Let us pray. Oh God, you have given us this land. Help us hear your call to us to be your stewards. Save us from confusion, illness, discord, and violence. Give us a spirit of wisdom, peace, justice, and thankfulness. Help us to serve in politics for the good and the true health of all. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Yeah, before y'all go, two get a picture with Jennifer. I want to get y'all to take a picture with Jalen and group picture. But first, get your picture with Jalen first. Okay, just come take our picture, then I take, look at this group.
You're ready to have your picture taken.
Before we take a picture as a group, does anybody mind me going on the state party website?
I was on there,
Okay.
I've been on there about 10 times in the last 2 weeks, trying to check if they're gonna upload this, if they haven't.
Okay, I'll make sure we got that
And
time.
I also sent a message, I talked to Crab, they hear it from a lot more than you.
Oh.
Come here, Ruth.
Okay.
Because, Cedric submitted, then we'll get you off.
All right, I see your smile,
Okay? Now, how you gonna do it?
Yeah, you take my phone.
All right, y'all, we can put y'all in the next one. Hey, come on, y'all, we definitely.
I want to get everybody now.
Come on, we get everybody.
Okay.
Everybody.
Everybody. Hold on that there.
Let me take it, here's the chair.
You want?
You want to come out and take a look at everybody?
Close up together.
Everybody act like you like each other.
Yeah.
Let's get in closer together.
You can take a ride on that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay?
I
I got that.
Oh, it's on there. Yeah, not take
Okay, everybody look this way. There's no Republicans in the bunch, are there?
Now, River, you come, take a spot.
No, that's okay.
Debbie, let me get the bag. So, want to get the bag for Linda?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.